Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're on a mission. We are going to try and shortcut one of the most critical new skills in the economy.
Building AI agents.
Exactly. Building autonomous, specialized AI agents. You hear about them all the time. These systems that can handle entire workflows, that have memory, that solve really complex problems.
But then the conversation immediately gets technical.
Right. It just evolves into coding languages, engineering hurdles, and suddenly most people feel completely locked out.
Not today, though.
Not today. Our deep dive is focused entirely on the architecture, the methodology for building an agent where you explicitly bypass the need for any of that traditional coding.
We're pulling this from a source called Practical AI Agent Mastery. And what's so interesting is that it lays out this incredibly structured 4-week journey, a mentor-guided program.
To take anyone, and I mean anyone, from zero knowledge
From absolutely nothing.
to becoming a fully deployed AI agent maker. That's the promise here, and it's a big one. This isn't just about, learning how to chat with an LLM a bit better.
No, this is systemic thinking. It's about designing and deploying specialized tools that are actually genuinely useful.
So our mission today is to break down this 28-day sprint, and by the time we're done, you, the listener, will know the exact steps, the design process, the tools, how to integrate them, how to deploy them.
Everything you need to design, build, integrate, deploy, and scale any type of AI agent. It doesn't matter if it's for business, law, creative work, or education.
And that's a key point you made before we started, the architectural consistency.
Yes, that's so important to grasp. Whether your agent is, say, summarizing medical reports or it's drafting social media content, the fundamental structure,
The identity, the workflow,
the memory, the safety checks, all of that remains the same. It's a blueprint.
and understanding that blueprint is basically the non-coder's superpower in this new world of AI automation.
It absolutely is.
Okay, let's unpack this journey. It's laid out in 4 distinct phases, week by week, from the initial idea all the way to a live product. So let's start at the beginning, the bedrock. All right, week 1. Conceptually, this whole week seems to be about giving the agent its identity and its language.
Exactly. This is where the non-coder has to master what is essentially the new syntax of AI.
Prompt engineering.
Prompt engineering, but on a professional level.
So what are the core deliverables? What does someone have to have accomplished by the end of these first 7 days?
The goals are all about structure and precision. It's not about being creative yet. First, you have to truly internalize the basic architecture of an agent. Then you need to achieve, and I mean absolute mastery of crafting a system prompt. We'll get into that.
Right.
You need to understand the basic tools that are already available inside the LLM. And finally, you have to successfully build your very first simple but, and this is key, reliable conversational agent.
So reliability is the theme here.
Oh, completely. If week 1 fails, the whole project fails. Because if you haven't established that baseline of reliability, you're just building a toy.
And that reliability, it seems, starts on day 1 and 2. They call it the core identity. So day 1 is strategic. It's just choosing a domain.
Right.
Why is that so critical? Why start with choosing between, say, law, education, or business? Isn't a big language model smart enough to handle, anything you throw at it?
It is, but generally smart is not the same as useful. A generalized agent is a master of none.
Oh, I see.
Choosing the domain, say the legal domain, it provides immediate context. It gives you the constraints you need to build something that's actually helpful.
So every decision you make after that.
Every single prompt, every tool you select, every safety boundary you define is now anchored to that legal context. It's what separates a truly effective, specialized tool from just a fun chatbot.
Okay, so that choice dictates the knowledge it needs and, I imagine, the ethical lines it can't cross. Which brings us to day 2. This is where we translate that domain choice into the agent's actual DNA, writing the system prompt. You call this the bedrock.
It is. This is where the non-coder truly becomes an architect. And frankly, it's where most casual users completely fail.
Because they just write a simple sentence.
Exactly. They'll say, you are a helpful assistant. A proper role-based prompt is so much more than that. You're crafting the agent's constitution.
So what does that look like? Give us an example.
Okay, so you have to assign a very strict role, not just analyst, but you are a senior financial analyst specializing in mid-cap tech stocks. Very specific.
Right.
Then you add its responsibilities and capabilities tied to that role. And, crucially, you define its boundaries.
What it can't do.
What it must not do. So if it's a financial analyst agent, a boundary has to be something explicit like, you must never provide personalized investment advice. You only provide market analysis.
I see. So the boundaries are just as important as the capabilities, especially, I'd imagine, in sensitive fields like law or health.
They're arguably more important.
Okay, but how do you make sure the output from this carefully defined agent isn't just a nice-looking paragraph that's totally useless for any kind of automation?
And that brings us to day 3. This is the big conceptual leap for the non-coder.
Designing input-output schemas.
Exactly. We are moving from prose to data. For an agent to be truly professional, for it to plug into any other workflow, a spreadsheet, a database, another agent, its output has to be standardized. It has to be machine readable.
So day 3 is all about writing JSON output templates.
Yes.
Now hang on. If I'm a non-coder, the minute I hear JSON, I think, okay, I'm out. I need to learn syntax. How does a program make this accessible?
This is the clever part. You don't write the underlying logic. You're not programming. You write the template. You write the instructions for the LLM to follow that template.
So you're describing the structure you want in plain English.
Exactly. You're defining the required output. You'd write something like, I need an object called summary, and inside that I need a key called key findings, which must be an array of 3 bullet points, and another key called confidence score, which must be an integer from 1 to 10.
And then you just test it.
You test it repeatedly. You use ChatGPT to see if it follows your instructions perfectly every time. This JSON schema becomes your quality control. It's what ensures the agent is business ready and isn't just producing, as you said, fluffy text.
That's a brilliant way to enforce structure without needing to be a developer. So now we know what the agent is, its identity, and how it speaks, the JSON schema. Day 4 is about what it can do, exploring the built-in toolkit.
Right. This is all about tool awareness. The LLM environments we have today, they come with these powerful capabilities already built in, and non-coders can use them just by asking.
What are the key ones to practice with?
The source specifies a few critical ones. There's the web tool for real-time internet searches. There's Python.
For what, though? For a non-coder?
For internal data analysis, for creating charts, or quick file creation. You don't write the Python, you just tell the agent, use the Python tool to make a table out of this data.
Got it. And file search for looking through documents you've uploaded.
Correct.
What about the others that were mentioned? There was a reference to canmore and automations. Can you clarify those?
Yes, that's a good point. Automations is pretty straightforward. It's about scheduling or triggering actions. Canmore is a bit more of an internal term. It often refers to specialized sort of proprietary models inside the LLM's architecture.
So black boxes, basically.
In a way, yes. They might handle things like a very large context window or specific data types. For the non-coder, the key thing isn't the name. It's just recognizing that the agent has these powerful internal tools for complex data handling or for image generation with Imagen that you can trigger just by talking to it.
So practice their application. Don't worry about the internal mechanics. Okay, so we've got the identity, the structure, and the tools. Day 5 is the first build, a simple text agent, like a legal summary agent.
Simple in scope, yes, but it has to be complex in its foundations. This agent has to take a large input, it has to apply its day 2 role, like a non-practicing paralegal, and then it has to output the result using its day 3 structure, the JSON schema.
It's the proof of concept.
It's the proof that your entire prompt architecture actually works.
And then they immediately push you with a mini project on day 6, the daily planner agent. Why is this a step up in complexity?
Because it demands transformation and prioritization. You're not just summarizing, you give it a messy stream of disorganized tasks, maybe from text messages, emails, your own notes.
Real-world chaos.
Exactly. And the agent has to apply its reasoning to categorize all of that, prioritize it, maybe assign time estimates, and then output a clean, structured, prioritized schedule. It forces you to think about turning raw input into logical, actionable output.
Which all leads up to day 7. The week 1 certification milestone. What are the 3 non-negotiable deliverables to pass?
Okay, number 1, a fully structured system prompt. It has to define the role, the responsibilities, and the boundaries. No exceptions.
Got it.
2, a complete input-output schema. Ideally, a JSON template that can handle at least 3 different data types reliably.
And the 3rd?
1 text-only agent that, and this is the most important part, reliably follows instructions 10 out of 10 times. It's not about being fancy yet. It's all about consistency.
Okay, so if in week 1, we built the agent's identity, its core. Week 2 sounds like we're giving it arms and legs, the ability to reach outside its box and start automating things.
That's a great way to put it. We're moving from a simple, responsive tool to a true multi-step agent.
So the goal is action.
The goal is mastering action. We get into multi-step agents, we start integrating with free external tools, and we focus on having a really clear, visible reasoning flow for every single operation. We're turning single actions into automated chains.
Day 8 is all about the mindset shift needed for this. It's called workflow thinking. For someone who's never designed a process before, what does that actually mean?
It's the difference between asking, summarize this article for me, and asking, search the web for news about our competitor, then summarize the 3 most recent articles, store those summaries in a file, and then email me the findings.
So you're not just giving one command.
You're not. You're designing a chain of action system. You have to learn to break down a complex task into these separate sequence steps. You have to map out the flow, input, then action 1 with tool X that gives you output 1, which flows into action 2 with tool Y, all the way to the final output.
Like a flow chart.
You have to master it visually like a block diagram before you can prompt it conversationally. It's a fundamental skill for automation.
And day 9 is spent practicing this, but with the built-in tools we already learned about. Multi-tool design. Can you give us an example of a simple 3-step internal process?
Sure. Think about a quick internal reporting agent. So, step 1, use the web tool to pull the stock prices for 3 specific companies. Step 2, pass that raw data to the Python tool, and you instruct it to calculate, say, the 7-day moving average, and then output that result as a little table.
And step 3.
Use the automations tool to set a reminder for yourself to check those prices again tomorrow, but only if the moving average changed by more than 5%.
So in one go, the agent has done research, analysis, transformation, and scheduling.
All in one seamless, invisible chain of commands.
This is where it gets really powerful, I think. Day 10 focuses on integrating free external tools. The LLM is amazing with text and logic, but it can't, see or hear the outside world on its own.
Exactly. These external tools give it specialized senses and actions. We're talking about connecting to services that handle media or that connect different applications together.
What are some of the crucial ones the source mentions?
For media, it highlights Whisper, which is incredibly good for accurate audio transcription, and then things like PaddleOCR or TesseractOCR for optical character recognition.
So pulling text out of images or PDFs.
Right, from scans, photos of documents, anything visual.
Now, wait a minute. I'm a non-coder. How am I connecting to Whisper or PaddleOCR from an LLM? Doesn't that usually involve getting an API key and writing some code?
This is where the training gets clever. It leverages platforms like Zapier or Make.
The glue of the internet.
They are the glue. You use the LLM to write the request in natural language. So the agent generates a command like transcribe the attached voice file.
Wow.
And then Zapier or InMake intercepts that command, and it's set up to pipe that file through the Whisper API, and then it brings the transcribed text back to your agent for the next step, like summarization.
So the non-coder is just interacting with the visual interface of Zapier and the natural language of the LLM.
And completely bypassing the need to code the API connection itself.
That is a massive lowering of the barrier to entry. Okay, so day 11 is where we build the first actual multi-step agent. A 3-step one.
And the example they use is the market research agent. It's designed to prove that you can create a consistent, logical flow. The steps are very distinct.
What are they?
Step 1 is data extraction. So, pulling specific metrics from the web based on what the user asks for. Step 2 is analysis and comparison. Using the internal Python tool to, say, compare those metrics against some industry benchmark data.
And the 3rd step?
Structured output. Producing that final summary and maybe an actionable recommendation, but it has to be in that predefined JSON format from week 1.
And the logic matters.
The logic is everything. If the agent messes up step 2, it shouldn't just confidently proceed to step 3. The learner has to build that kind of reasoning into the prompt.
And once that multi-step flow is down, day 12 is about practical automations. This is where the agent becomes a tireless employee.
Yes, you're shifting from doing on-demand work to scheduling recurring tasks. So the learners have to set up 3 types of automations.
Like what?
A daily summary automation, like getting the top news in your industry every morning. A weekly learning automation, maybe indexing new articles from a specific blog and adding them to a personal knowledge base. And something simple, like a monthly filing reminder.
So you're operationalizing the agent for these repetitive but still valuable tasks.
You're freeing up human time. That's the whole point.
Day 13 is the mini project, the content creation agent. This one seems to combine creativity with that rigid structure we've been talking about.
It does, and it's a great test because it demands the agent handle multiple output formats at the same time. You give it just a single input, a title for video, for example.
And it has to produce what?
Three different things. A full video script, which is long-form text. A thumbnail idea, which is a visual concept or description, maybe even using the Imagen tool to mock something up. And then relevant hashtags, which is structured metadata.
So it's testing if the agent can maintain a consistent tone and theme across different types of output.
Exactly. Text, visual concept, and data, all from one prompt.
And what defines success for the week 2 certification milestone? What do you have to deliver?
You have to prove you can connect things and manage a complex flow. So the deliverables are: 1, an agent that uses at least 2 different tools in sequence. That proves the chain of actions is working.
Okay. 2, a complete running automation workflow. That proves recurrence. And 3, you need to show demonstrable proof of one external tool integration, probably through Zapier or Make, like connecting to your email or a cloud drive.
Okay, so week 1 was identity, week 2 was action. Week 3 feels like it's about intelligence and responsibility and context. We're building the agent's brain.
This is definitely the most conceptually dense week. We're moving from just pure functionality to what you might call enterprise-level readiness.
What are big goals?
They're crucial. First, implementing human-in-the-loop safety protocols. Second, integrating long-term memory for real personalization. And third, mastering retrieval-augmented generation.
Which is the magic that lets agents work accurately with large private documents and not make things up.
Cannot hallucinate. Exactly.
Let's start with responsibility. Day 15 is about integrating safety and review stages. So even if your agent is super reliable, why is this human-in-the-loop step so essential? Because of risk. Regulatory risks, reputational damage, simple accountability. An agent operating in finance or law or medicine cannot and should not make a final autonomous decision.
So day 15 is about building checkpoints.
That's the perfect word. You're embedding crucial human confirmation steps, like requiring a confirmation button before the agent sends a really high-stakes email. Or it has to provide clear warnings if its data analysis finds a high-risk factor.
Or maybe gives you options instead of just one answer.
Exactly. Generating multiple options for the human user to choose from. That ensures the human keeps the final say, the final accountability, even when the agent is providing all the raw intelligence.
So the agent becomes an intelligence provider, not a final decision maker. That makes a lot of sense. Then day 16 tackles personalization through memory integration. How do you make an agent remember past conversations to be more useful?
It needs long-term memory, not just the short-term context of the current chat, and that involves 2 things.
What's the first?
First is storing explicit user preferences. Simple things like, always use a casual, humorous tone with me, or my default currency for all financial calculations is euros.
And the second part?
Actively calling that memory within a workflow. So if you have a startup strategy agent, and it remembers that your last 3 strategies all focused on B2B SaaS.
It can tailor its next response.
Right. The prompt might start with, given your previous focus on B2B SaaS, here are 3 new strategies tailored specifically for that sector. It elevates the agent from a generic tool to a personalized, hyper-efficient assistant.
Day 17 is a deep dive into the tools you need to handle complex, unstructured data, which is the foundation for RGA.
Right. If you're dealing with a company's internal library of documents, PDFs, scanned invoices, huge legal contracts, you need specialized tools. So you do a deep dive on the built-in file search tool, but also those external OCR tools we mentioned, PaddleOCR and Tesseract.
For turning pictures of text into actual text.
Which is critical.
Yeah.
And then the training connects these capabilities to existing knowledge bases that people already use, like Notion or Obsidian.
So you can turn your personal Notion setup into a private, queryable database for your agent.
Exactly.
Okay, we have to spend some time on day 18. This is the big one, the conceptual peak. Building a RAG agent. This is what unlocks deep, accurate knowledge work for a non-coder. Can you break down the 4 essential steps for us, the non-coding steps?
Absolutely. RAG is, I think, the most powerful tool we have for grounding an LLM in facts. And the steps, they sound technical, but they're conceptually manageable.
Okay, what's step 1?
Step 1, breaking content into chunks. So imagine you upload a 500-page corporate handbook. The LLM's context window can't hold all of that at once, so the system automatically chops the document up into small, digestible paragraphs or chunks.
Why does it do that?
To make it searchable and manageable. It's like cutting a giant textbook into individual labeled flashcards.
Okay, that makes sense. Flashcards.
Exactly. Then you get to step 2, storing vectors. This is where the magic really happens. We take those text chunks, those flashcards, and we convert them into mathematical representations. Vectors.
So you're turning words into numbers.
You are. Think of it like creating a super efficient library card catalog. The sources mention vector storage solutions like Phase or Chroma. Now, as a non-coder, you're not building the catalog system. You're just using an interface that organizes the information numerically. This allows the AI to find semantic similarity, not just keyword matches.
And semantic similarity is huge. It means I can ask a question using different words, and the system still finds the right source material.
That's the key, which leads to step 3, retrieving relevant information. When you ask a question, the agent takes your query, turns it into a vector, and then instantly compares it to that vector catalog it just made. And it pulls out only the few most semantically relevant chunks from that original 500-page document.
And this leads to the most important constraint, the final step.
Step 4. The LLM generates a grounded output based only on the retrieved data. The final instruction you give the LLM is critical. It's, you must answer the user's question, but your answer must be verifiable using only these 5 paragraphs I just retrieved for you.
So it's forbidden from using its general knowledge.
Exactly. This constraint is the core hallucination prevention mechanism. It guarantees the answer is accurate and transparently sourced from your private documents. This is non-negotiable for any high-trust agent in a legal or financial setting.
That detailed breakdown makes it so much clearer. The process is a defined, systematic workflow, even if the tech is complex. So day 19 then adds multimodal inputs on top of this.
Right. This is about making the agent robust to how people actually behave in the real world. In business, someone might snap a photo of a whiteboard drawing. That's an image input. Or they'll send a voice note with instructions. That's audio input.
So the agent has to be smart enough to recognize those file types and handle them.
It has to recognize them, automatically call on a tool like Whisper or an OCR tool, convert them to text, and then feed that text into the same RAG workflow we just discussed.
That complexity really sets the stage for the day 20 mini project, the Document Intelligence Agent. This sounds like the final exam for week 3.
It really is. This single agent has to be capable of 3 advanced tasks at once.
What are they?
First, generating general summaries of massive documents. Second, proactive issue detection, so identifying specific risks or compliance failures within the text, usually by cross-referencing it against some regulatory knowledge.
And the third task?
Clause comparison. It has to be able to look at multiple separate legal documents and highlight the differences between specific clauses. To succeed at this, you need flawless RAG, you need that rigorous JSON output, and you need integrated safety checks.
So what's the final week 3 certification milestone?
The 3 key deliverables are: 1, a fully functional RG-enabled agent that can answer questions grounded in external documents. 2, a memory-enabled agent that actually demonstrates recall and personalization. And 3, a human review pipeline implementation, something that incorporates those safety checkpoints like confirmations or risk evaluations to prove you've designed it responsibly.
Okay, we've built the identity, the workflow, and the brain. Week 4 feels like the final mile. This is the transition from a prototype to an actual product.
Exactly. We're moving to deployment, to scaling, to building a public-facing, production-ready solution.
The goal now is operational reality.
It shifts completely. We have to deploy the agent, make sure it has a functional user interface, integrate real-time data through APIs, and set up quality assurance and scaling strategies. This is all about making the skill marketable.
Day 22 lists practical deployment options. For a non-coder, that word deployment sounds terrifying. How are they putting an agent online without managing a server farm?
The focus is entirely on simplified hosting environments. The program uses tools that are specifically designed for rapid, low-code deployment.
Like what?
Things like Hugging Face spaces, which is fantastic for hosting AI models and apps. Streamlit, which lets you create interactive data apps very quickly using Python, which the LLM can generate for you.
So the AI writes the code for the app.
Exactly. Then there's Vercel, which is really popular for simple front-end deployment, and Cloudflare Workers for serverless back-end logic. All of these platforms abstract away the deep server management. They're just straightforward launchpads.
And once it's deployed, it needs a front door. Day 23 is about front-end design. Again, if I'm not writing HTML or CSS, how am I building a functional, attractive interface?
You prompt it.
You just ask for it.
You use the LLM as your code generator. You
Yeah.
give the agent the user experience goals. You say, I need a clean interface with a large text input box, a specific brand color, and a button that kicks off my 3-step workflow.
It just spits out the code.
It generates the foundational code, the HTML for structure, CSS for style, even basic React components for interactivity. The learner focuses entirely on the UX and UI design constraints, and they get functional code they can just plug into a platform like Vercel or Streamlit.
Day 24 is about moving beyond static knowledge to real-time utility with API integration. Why is this so essential for a production-ready agent?
Because an agent using RG is grounded in documents, which is great, but that information is often historical. A real business agent needs to know what's happening right now.
So APIs provide that live data.
They provide that current data access, fetching up-to-the-minute weather data for a logistics agent, or current stock market prices for a finance agent, or real-time regulatory updates.
And the integration method is still the same, using something like Zapier.
For a non-coder, that's often the easiest path. It's managed via Zapier or Make, which triggers the API call based on the agent's structured request. It ensures the intelligence is always current.
Day 25 focuses on a step I think a lot of people skip in their excitement. Testing and improvement. What are the key metrics for evaluation before you let this thing out into the wild?
You absolutely cannot deploy without rigorous QA. The key metrics you have to master are, first, accuracy. For a RAG agent, does it actually cite the correct source material? Then speed. Is the latency, the response time, acceptable for a live user? Stability, does your multi-step workflow consistently fail at a certain point?
Error handling too, I'd imagine.
Crucial. How gracefully does the agent recover when a web search fails or an API returns an error? And finally, reliability with multimodal inputs. Does it break when you give it an audio file instead of text? These metrics are what move a project from "it works sometimes" to "it works reliably under load."
And D26 is the combination of everything. Building a real agent, a production-ready solution, targeting a high-value problem.
And these examples really show the ROI of this whole 4-week process. These are solutions designed to attack massive, real-world inefficiencies.
What are some of the examples from the source?
It highlights things like the PackFiler tax agent, which automates complex national tax documentation, a courtroom research agent for cross-referencing case law, a medical report explainer that translates complex diagnoses into simple, accessible language.
A startup strategy agent.
Right, for doing complex competitor analysis. These agents prove that the learner can go way beyond generic tasks and build specialized, high-impact business solutions.
Day 27 is the final polish, making it robust across all possible inputs.
It's the final check. Does the agent handle incoming images, audio, video, and documents completely seamlessly? A professional AI agent maker has to build systems that can serve the user through any channel.
And the final day, Day 28, final deployment and launch. This seems to be about more than just flipping a switch. It involves crucial, non-technical documentation.
Absolutely. Putting an agent out in public is a legal and ethical act. It must be accompanied by essential documentation.
Such as
Clear user instructions that detail how to use it properly. Transparent limitations that manage expectations, like, this tool is not a substitute for a licensed attorney. And crucial safety notes confirming the presence of those human-in-the-loop steps and responsible use guidelines. It's all about mitigating risk. Hashtag tag outro.
So we've just mapped out 28 days of incredibly intense systematic training. The journey from zero knowledge to a fully operational production-ready agent. It's stunning.
It is, but the final result isn't just the deployed agent. The real goal is the portfolio that proves you are an AI agent maker.
That portfolio is the ultimate deliverable, isn't it?
It's the professional evidence. It's your ticket into entrepreneurship or consulting or a new internal role focused on automation. It proves not just that you have the ability to build, but that you have the discipline to document the entire process properly.
Let's just quickly review the 7 non-negotiable requirements for that final portfolio.
Yeah.
Because these are the things that prove you've mastered the whole process.
Okay, first, the finalized system prompt. That's at the agent's constitution.
Right.
Second, the detailed reasoning flow document, the visual map of your chain of actions workflow. Third, the rigorous input-output schema, that JSON template that guarantees structured data.
Number 4.
A comprehensive list of all tools used, internal, external, and any API integrations. Fifth, the live agent deployment link itself, proof that it's real and it works.
And the last 2.
Sixth, sample outputs that showcase its performance and show that it's adhering to the schema. And finally, number 7, the essential user instructions and all that safety documentation.
When you put it all together, the skill you've gained over these 4 weeks is the ability to translate these complex, messy business problems into automated, scalable, and safe tools.
You're not writing code, you're directing the intelligence.
That's a great way to say it.
It's probably the highest leverage skill available right now for a non-technical professional. It lets you take these complex domains, tax filing, legal research, market forecasting, and turn them into predictable, efficient, automated workflows, all customized to a specific niche need.
And here's where this gets really interesting for you, the listener, as we close out this deep dive. This entire 4-week process, it's geared toward solving high-value, inefficient workflows that you encounter every single day in the real world.
Problems that are just waiting for a solution.
So we want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Now that you know the exact systematic steps required to build and deploy a specialized agent, what is the single most urgent, currently inefficient workflow that you could automate first? And what would be the specific high-value domain you would choose for that agent's core identity?
Think about the problem your new agent is going to solve day in and day out. What would it be?